To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Walt's World podcast. I'm John. With me, as always, is my friend, Kelly Campbell. What's up, Kelly? How are you?
Hey, y'all. I'm good. A little tired.
Did you do anything fun this past weekend?
I didn't get stuck in a Skyliner. That's one thing I didn't do this weekend.
Wow, what a great segue. So we're going to be talking about breaking news that happened over the weekend that I'm sure everybody knows about by now. If you are a Disney fan, something we are calling Terror in the Sky.
It's pretty fitting.
Yeah, and it literally would be terror in the sky. So we're going to talk a little bit about the Skyliner episode that occurred, and then we're going to have a brand new segment that I think you guys are going to literally be crying in your car laughing as we go through this new segment that we're calling what, Kelly? What are we calling it?
The most magical reviews that we found today.
The most magical reviews we found today. Basically, we're going to look at Disney reviews that we found online that are just extremely magical, quote unquote, magical. So anyways, let's get into it and talk about Terror in the Sky 2019. All right, so if you guys didn't know, riders on the Disney World's new gondolas, or the Skyliner, were stranded for hours, plural, hours, and the Skyliner is closed. This happened on Saturday, October the 6th.
5th.
Oh, the 5th, sorry. The 5th. And it is still closed as we're recording this on Tuesday, October the 8th. So there's that. Riders aboard the news. This is from the Orlando Sentinel. Riders aboard the new Skyliner gondola ride. It's not a ride. Anyways, at Walt Disney World were stranded for hours late Saturday night after an apparent malfunction, according to witnesses. Specifically, it was 3 hours, right? Give or take.
Upwards of 3, yeah. Depended on where you were, but some people were in there for up to 3 hours.
3 hours. Luckily, this happened at night, so it wasn't 1,000 degrees. Their aerial transportation system will be closed as Disney investigates, blah, blah, blah. No reported injuries, although some did go to the hospital. One of the 3 Disney Skyliner routes experienced an unexpected downtime Saturday evening, the release said, this from Disney. As a result, the Skyliner will be closed while we look into the details surrounding downtime. On Sunday, Disney said the problem was not a power outage and that it was continuing to look into the situation. Riders were starting to be evacuated by the ride after 11 p.m. Saturday night.
Jeez.
Yeah, so, okay. They interviewed this guy named Chris, who was on one of these with his disabled mother. And these are his words. There's a fire truck and paramedics unloading the people ahead of us. We've been stuck up here for hours waiting, he said. We've cracked open the emergency kit a while ago for water. It's just a nightmare right now. As an aside, the emergency kit had water. It had a notepad and pen. It had a waste bag. Yes, a waste bag. And did I say a whistle? Did I say that? A whistle. Nope. It had a whistle.
Oh, I didn't know about the whistle. That one's fun.
It has a whistle because when you're stranded above Hourglass Lake, or whatever that thing is called, between Pop and Art of Animation, the very thing you need is a whistle, right? That's what you need up there. Anyways, he said, yeah, this Chris guy said his mother was having a hard time. She got sick a while ago, throwing up because of her nerves, but I gave her one of the bags.
Good.
The cabins, which hold up to 10 people, not air conditioned, were stuck for approximately 3 to 3.5 hours, depending on your location. So here's the deal. The Reedy Creek, which is the area that Disney World is in, the Reedy Creek fire trucks and paramedics and policemen said that literally that they were so overwhelmed by the amount of calls due to the gondolas that if something else had happened on property at the same time, it would have been a, quote, disaster. What?
That's how many people it took to get them out of there.
Evidently.
I would love to see numbers on how many people were stuck up there. Because
Yeah.
it's a pretty long trail for those Skyliners. And if some people were up there some people indicated that they were up there a little over an hour, and some people said that they were up there for over 3 hours. That's a huge discrepancy. I mean, both are awful, but that's a huge discrepancy in time. I genuinely wonder how many people were stuck, because that's insane.
It is insane. I know that some of the cabins were completely full, meaning 10 people.
Yeah.
And some of those were the ones that were stranded for 3 hours. 10 people in one of these for 3 hours. Now, if every gondola was full on the whole system, that would be approximately 2,000 people. Now, that's not how many people were stranded, because it was only one line. But still, though, there's a lot of people that could have been stranded up there. So what they got, this Chris guy said he and his mother got off the gondola at about 11:30 p.m. He said Disney gave him a 4-day park hopper pass and a $200 gift card for his trouble. Huh.
Supposedly they didn't have to sign anything, though, so that'll be interesting.
Do you think legally, though, that the fact that they took the bribe, they took the park passes and the money, is kind of like the unofficial way of saying, okay, yeah, this is our contract with you. By taking this, we're not going to say anything.
No, it actually legally doesn't hold that way. You would still have to sign an agreement. They can give you whatever they want, but until they make you sign an agreement not to sue them, you can still sue them.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't believe they didn't make them sign anything.
I think the theory is that there really isn't any grounds to sue them, so that's why they went ahead and did that. That's totally possible.
There's probably a sign somewhere saying, by boarding this,
you write at your own risk kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's still, that's, ugh.
Would you be stuck in one of those for 3 hours?
I'm never touching those things, so if me, nothing.
If you could be guaranteed a free 4-day park hopper. Now, I know your annual pass, and I haven't been able to track down what they did for people who had annual passes, but I know they were doing it like a case-by-case individual thing and having to talk about it if that was the situation. But that's what I'm wondering is what they did for annual pass holders. But I think that I would totally be stranded in one of those for 3 hours if I was going to be guaranteed money. Somehow, like I would totally be stranded in one of those for money.
So at night or during a July day? Let's add in some devil's advocate.
Can we say how lucky Disney got, though?
That it wasn't
at
night
during the day? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And crazy lucky. Like they could have had some serious, just if you don't want to leave people in a car without the air conditioning on.
Right.
So, I mean, I can't imagine being in one of those for hours upon end.
And that's part of okay, just as a note of honesty here, I was jumping up and down over this news, excited because I have hated this idea from the beginning. Just to be totally honest, I think the Skyliners are the stupidest thing they've ever done. I can't stand it. Because to me, the whole thing was just a logistical nightmare from the get-go. And this is why. I understand that they can't put air conditioning on them, but it's Florida. If anything, like exactly what just happens in the middle of the day, I honestly, I don't think they'll get off scot-free without somebody dying. Like you just said, people have died in cars for a lot less.
Oh yeah, for sure.
How can they? I just don't understand how they can justify it.
give us a history. You did some research into the history of gondola systems and Disney.
I did.
Give
So
us the lowdown.
they have had gondola systems before in 3 different parks. So they had one in Disneyland that opened in 1956. I think that's the right number. It could be 54 or 56. My computer's being slow now. One in Tokyo Disneyland and one in the Magic Kingdom at Disney World that just took travelers from like a point A to point B kind of thing in Tomorrowland. The one in Disneyland closed in 1994. And the reason they said was because of basically metal fatigue was the way that they described it. Basically, it was old, run down, and they didn't want to pay to keep up with it anymore, which is fine. I guess it wasn't that important of a ride. The one in Tokyo Disneyland closed down for basically the same thing in 1998, and also to make room for their Winnie the Pooh ride. The one in the Magic Kingdom, however, has kind of a weird story. So, based on the information that Disney World released at the time, this was in 1999, in November, they closed the ride. It was called the Skyway. They closed the ride because of similar reasons. They said that it needed repairs that they weren't really willing to make, just economic reasons. But the weird thing about that closure in November of 1999 is back in February of 1999, a cast member actually died on the gondolas. Pretty morbid story. It was a custodial worker who was cleaning one of the platforms and in the morning, and the other cast members turned it on without knowing he was there and ended up knocking him off about 40 feet in the middle of the park. And the park had already opened. So, yeah, that's horrifying. Disney did not claim that that's why they closed the park, but OSHA got on them super hard for it. It was apparently violating tons of safety code rules for him to be up there cleaning it in the first place. Like, it was bad. So they claim they didn't want to keep up the maintenance on it, but I seriously wonder if it had more to do with that. I don't know. I feel like if you already have a sketchy history with some kind of ride design, why would you push it again?
Yeah, you would think, right? I
Right.
mean, this specific situation with getting stuck was the number one concern that people had about this system. Because what do you do when you're stuck above water, or you're stuck at one point you're 60 feet above the ground? So what happens at that
Or
point?
above traffic. Like it goes over
Yeah.
World Drive or whatever. That's a major highway basically.
Yeah. And look, I get the whole idea of it's another way to get people off the buses or off the roads and kind of clean that up. Like, I get that's the point of it. But at the same time, we all knew, all of us, even you listening, you knew that this was going to be an issue. It had to be. And how they handled it was going to be a big thing. Now, when you hear 3 hours, you think, oh my God, that's such a long time. But if you think about it, 3 hours, and this thing is spread out across almost all property. Like, we're talking miles of
it's a pretty
cable
big
and stuff.
chunk of property.
So for it to have only taken 3 hours to evacuate every single person off of the thing, that's actually not too bad if you think about it.
But the resources it took to do that's insane. No. I mean, like, the fact that Reedy Creek Fire Department released a statement saying that if anything else had happened, they'd basically be screwed. Like, that's awful. Why is that the way they found to to help that or to aid that? If they weren't already prepared for that, man, like, why? Who was not doing their job? Who was not asking the right questions? Who was not doing enough research for this? That's the part that bugs me the most, because I think this is very out of character for Disney. Not things, like breaking down, like, obviously that happens over time. Technology is always going to do that. But the fact that they didn't think this through, didn't think any of this through, like, just figured, if it gets stuck, we'll figure it out. That's ridiculous. They should have been more prepared, and they weren't. And I don't understand. They can't justify not being prepared for that to me.
There's only one situation that would have made this worse, and that's if someone had actually gotten really hurt or killed, which so glad that no one did. But could the timing have, it literally had been open maybe a whole week?
No, 6 days.
6 days? Okay.
Yeah. So not even a
Before
week.
this happened.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It just is like, you can't help but just laugh. Whenever Krista, my wife, showed me, she sent me the text and was like, hey, you will not believe this, and sent me the link. I literally didn't believe it. I was in shock, Kelly, that had actually happened that soon after that. And Disney's never going to tell you what actually happened.
No.
Ever.
No, of course not.
Ever. But there were gondolas that had crashed into each other in one of the stations, and glass was everywhere. And yeah, we're never going to find out exactly what happened. But I'm assuming it's probably a CM messed up. I bet that's exactly what it was. And also, apparently, there was no way for the CMs in the stations to communicate with the people in the gondolas.
It was an automated message the whole time. And that, too, that is another total oversight on their part. How did they not?
Yeah. I mean, elevators have that, right? So
the monorail has that.
Yeah. Like, granted, this could happen on the monorail. It has happened on the monorail.
The thing about the monorail, though, is like everyone's in the same location. Like if the monorail gets stuck in the middle somewhere, everyone on it is right there on it. Like it wouldn't take 3 hours to get everyone off because they're all right there. Mm-hmm. But with everyone spaced out, yards apart from each other in individual little cars, that's, that's going to be bad.
Yeah. So you're not going to ride it.
No
matter, you're never, ever going to do it.
Disney cannot pay me enough gift cards to get me to go on there.
I'm going to do it. just in hopes. Just in hopes that one day it'll stall for like at least, because they've set the precedent now. So like 3 hours, you're getting $200 in gift cards, and you're getting a 4-day park hopper. So what do I get for 4, 5, 6 hours? Like that's what an annual pass renewal for free. Like, heck yes, I will stay all day in that sucker in July if I have to. I'm going to carry water with me. I'm going to have snacks in my bag. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to use the bathroom before I get on. You never know. You never know. But yeah, so let us know if you guys have ridden the new Skyliner. Let us know. And if you were on the Skyliner when it had its unfortunate end during the Terror in the Skies. Let us know too. We would love to hear from you and get you guys on next week's episode to talk about that. That would be really, really interesting to hear. So anyways, let's talk now. Let's go into our new segment. Kelly, what do you say?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's be positive. I had some comments last week that we were not very positive. So let's be positive with our new, and I'm looking at you, Glenn, GJP Contracting, and your comments about us not being positive enough for you.
Glenn, I am not going to be the person you want to listen to.
No.
I'm sorry.
He knows that. He knew that coming in. He knew that coming into this. So I have to be the other. I have to bring the positivity.
We're going to be positive by reading negative reviews.
We're positive these are going to be the best reviews we found today. All right. So, Kelly, why don't you go first? What is a review you found about Disney? These are all real reviews from real people. We're not going to read the names or anything like that, but we are going to insert our own accent to what we think these people sound like as we're reading these. We're not making fun of the people per se. We're making fun of the comments that they've made.
Making fun of the
absurdity.
Complaints.
Yes, the complaints that they've made. So, Kelly, you go ahead. You go first. Hit us with your first, the best review you found today. One of them.
This one was interesting. They're all interesting. They're all going to start that way. It was miserable. The hottest day of the year, and they decided their trams were not going to be used to bring you from the parking lot to the ticketing area. They should sell things like frozen lemonade on hot days. Most of the restaurants I remember are closed now. I did badly wanted a Dole Whip. The attendant there was so young, said she had never heard of it. The splash zone for kids was closed. The vendors were there to sell towels and socks, etc. But on a hot day like today, people tend to let their kids play too long, and other kids don't get to enjoy the area, so they don't let anyone enjoy it. Day 2 of a 3-day pass. Not sure I want to use the last day after today. 1 star.
Wow.
There's a lot in there. A couple things that caught me were the complaint about they should sell frozen lemonade on hot days. I don't know how much looking up this individual did, but if you don't keep your eyes on the ground or only in the sky while you're at Disney, there is frozen lemonade everywhere. If you see an umbrella with a stand under it, bet there's frozen lemonade sold right there. And all year.
Just hot days.
It could be a cold day and it's still
Kelly,
sold.
No,
Oh,
they
I'm
will
sorry.
not sell just hot days.
Apparently.
And how dare Disney not control the temperature outside?
Right. Well, and they decided apparently not to use their trams that day in the parking lot. I love that comment because there's no way that that's the case. Unless there was something legitimately wrong with the trams, there's no way they're not running them. So more than likely, they pulled out of the parking lot or walked out of their spot in the parking lot just as the tram had pulled away.
Yeah.
So there wasn't one right there when they parked, which is not the same thing as them not using the trams. It just wasn't there when they got there.
What a great way to start. That's a great review. Very positive review. All right, my turn. All right, so I'm gonna read this the way that it's written. All the mistakes, everything. All right, so I'm not like having a stroke when I'm reading this. This is legit. All right, here we go. We have better service at Chick-fil-A. They didn't put any hyphens in Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A. Then we have better service at Chick-fil-A than at Disney. I took my daughter for her 13th birthday. I saved for 6 years. She had 3 people say happy birthday. Only one at Test Track smiled. Newen is happy here. All caps. Newen is happy here. We can handle the heat. It was nice and cool mostly, and the long lines, but the magic has turned to misery. They even took our fast pass at Hollywood Studios and couldn't even say sorry or come back later. They just said, find another ride. We will never go back. So, Newen, no one is happy, but they put no and one together into one word. Like, I get saving and it being a special thing. Like, I totally understand all that. But the fact that she's mad that only 3 people said happy birthday, and the fact that only one person at Test Track smiled, how dare they? What kind of people are they hiring at Disney World that only one person at Test Track smiled?
We have not had a good experience so far. 2.5 hours, and we still have not made it into the park. The monorail was down. We had to wait on a ferry after 2 ferries, flying ferries, went by. We finally get on the ferry. My daughter and family was told their tickets were all set at the main entrance, and then when we get across the water and ready to go into the parks, they were told they could not go in because they got a credit card and they didn't have the credit card with them, which takes 7 to 10 days.
What?
Which takes 7 to 10 days for them to get, which I believe they got through the Disney website, and now they have to wait in the line at customer service for another hour before we can even get in. And this is my granddaughter's first trip to Walt Disney. Oh, that was a long sentence. Man, those ferries. Okay.
Oh, the ferries. It's always
What
the
you got?
ferries' fault. All right, so the headline is Memory Maker. They're all going to have a Southern accent. I'm sorry. That's like the only accent I can do. A waste of money. Better off taking pictures with your cell phone or camera. Poor explanation of how to get the best use of Memory Maker and difficult to keep up with all cards. There has to be a better system. After waiting in line an hour to take a picture with Aladdin and Jasmine, we could have made a better use of our time. I don't even have the card to be able to download the picture. So I paid $169 for 9 picture. For the most part, staff were courteous but very uninformed when questioned. My $3,000 I gotta read it. This is what it's supposed to say. My 3 grandchildren will be old enough to take themselves before I ever visit Disney World again. We're going to Universal or SeaWorld next time.
I'm not a patient person, honestly, and there's actually a very good reason that sometimes... I have to start that one over. You can't laugh.
I'm sorry. I just was not expecting the... Sorry, just go on.
Oh, this one requires it. Okay.
Okay.
It's all one sentence, too, by the way, so
fabulous.
you have to let me get through it.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay. I'm not a patient person, honestly, and there's actually a very good reason that sometimes this place deserves probably less than 1 star, since you'd pay around $100 to get in per day. And in the end, for me personally, I only went on 1 ride, and that's probably my only one decent experience here, beside eating the longest hot dog I've ever ate. But that's besides the point.
The longest hot dog I've ever ate.
That's a pretty great experience in my book.
That's a great experience. Oh, boy. Okay. Here's one for the ages right here. Again, always Southern. I seen a worker snorting something in the bathroom. I went inside to use the bathroom and seen that a worker was snorting something. When we met eye contact, he said, "What do you want, son?" And laughed. I noticed his name was Joel. So I acted as if I was looking for people to work on a house and asked him his name. And he said, Joel Sinkney. And he just said, "I look forward to hearing from you." And I'm complaining about the drug use he displayed. Luckily, and I'm complaining about the drug use he displayed. Luckily, I was the only person going to Trahi bathroom in my grip because I had four little boys with me.
I have so many questions about that one. Ugh.
Oh, Joel. It's always a guy named Joel. Here's another one. The entrance to the main pool at Saratoga is unsafe. While in the pool on Tuesday, May 28th, I watched 3 kids fall on their butts while entering the pool. It is way too slippery, I told the lifeguard. She immediately passed info to someone because 2 men came out with a broom and some kind of solution that they said would take the film off bottom. Something should be done before someone gets hurt.
Oh my God.
It was all one sentence, but I had to breathe.
I wish y'all could have seen how red in the face he got yelling that one.
Oh. Woo. Well, guess what, lady? It's slippery because everything's wet. Don't go to the pool then. Wasted an enormous amount of time. Took an entire day to see 3 rides. Meanwhile, you feel like a second-class citizen when you've watched folks pass you in line with a quote-unquote speed pass. This park is overpriced and a waste of time, even for kids. Mine hated the waiting. Let me tell you the name of this is just like a username. If you're listening, I'm sorry, but I can't handle this. The username is Forked Squirrel Monkey. All right.
Hey, now that might be their given name. You never know.
Speed Pass. Speed Pass.
Well, didn't go here in the past year, but I did when I was 7 and I hated it. 1 star.
Oh my gosh. So this person was like maybe 8, and they wrote this review. I haven't gone
Could
to
be.
last year, but when I was 7, it sucked. Oh my gosh.
That's it too. That's the review.
Oh,
beautiful.
that's all. That's all they said.
That's all they said.
That's it. This place sucks. The end. Oh my gosh. I don't even know how to anyways, come back from that one, but here we go. The title of this one is Fast Pass Debacle.
I like that yours have titles.
I know. The Fast Pass system is the most aggravating thing. I will not come back and watch people who got Fast Passes 30 days in advance file past people waiting hours and hours. The Avatar flight was 4-hour wait. That is half of a day. A very, very expensive day. So instead of making her fast passes 30 days in advance, she's just not going to go at all because she doesn't want to see other people who did that go past her or other people.
Are we ready for this final glowing
Is this your
1-star
final one?
review?
Uh-huh.
Fasten your seatbelts, folks. It's a big one. 1 star. Happy day. I'm my life. That's it. That's the review.
That's it. Oh my gosh. Worst and expensive is the title of this one. $10,000 spent to see 4th of July fireworks. ... I learned it was a lie. ... An expensive lie.
Ooh.
Who did they buy those tickets from for $10,000?
Well, they probably included just everything.
My
What is
God.
the lie? That was the thing about reading these, was sometimes it was really frustrating because as a Disney fan and somebody who goes all the time, I know the processes, I know how everything works, I know what to look for, what to avoid, that kind of stuff. And so much of this was just like, if you took 10 minutes to read about where you were going, you could have avoided this. Like the whole waiting for the credit card, or not being able to get their tickets because of their credit card. Like, I immediately know what that complaint is. That complaint is they bought their tickets online, they went to go pick them up at will call without knowing that they needed to go to will call, and couldn't pick up the tickets because they did not have the credit card used to buy the tickets online. When you buy those tickets, it says point blank that you need to have a photo ID and the same credit card used to purchase them in order to pick them up. It says it on there. I'm really sorry, but if you don't read the directions, that's on you. Like, that's no longer on the park. That's on you. There are some things that Disney could definitely be clearer about. I think some of the Fast Pass complaints are totally valid. It can be frustrating, but some of it, it's just like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Use some critical thinking. You with the happy day in your life, I was really, really good with that one. I have no complaints about that one. 1 star.
Mickey Mouse was in I gotta stop. Mickey Mouse was in lobby of Art of Animation. Line was not too long. At least 10 people ahead of us. We were the last ones, actually. This guy just told us that's it. No more picture taking. He could have at least had us take a picture with Mickey. My granddaughter cried after that. He was rude. No more picture taking, Kelly. No more picture taking.
So many of these, I just want to know exactly what happened because there's no way they're not being misconstrued.
Right? This is my last one. And they gave this 5 stars for some reason. Okay, I gotta take a deep breath. There's no periods or commas in this. Right, here we go. I've taken 4 children and 3 adults to Walt Disney World June 18th and was very disappointed. The children were disappointed that they did not get to see any Disney characters walking around like it was advertised on TV. Walt Disney is a really big ripoff. The amount of money you pay to walk around there is terrible. I would love to have a refund. I have 4 children now that couldn't wait to leave because Disney... I can't do it. Wait to leave Disney World because lines were too long for rides. There were no Disney characters, no Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, Goofy, Donald Duck, or Pluto to even look at. I wouldn't even call the place Walt Disney. I would call it a big scam, and I'm spreading the word to other families that are thinking about going to Walt Disney, and they are all changing their minds now. Again, Walt Disney is one big ripoff to whoever attends this place. It's just one big scam ripoff. I will never ever return to this place ever again. We even purchased Fast Pass, and that was also a big ripoff. How could Walt Disney do this to people? Good luck in the future. Disney just need to disappear with some fairy dust.
It sounds like they get ripped off if they purchased Fast Pass.
I was going to say they purchased... There's so many people, too, that complained about buying Fast Pass.
Yeah. Like, you're right. Somebody ripped you off, but it wasn't Disney.
It was probably Joel in the bathroom. Hey, man, give me $100. I'll get you some Fast Passes, bro. Some Fast Passes, man. Just $100. Fast Passes.
Fast Pass scalpers somewhere out.
And this person was fooled by the advertisement on TV depicting characters walking around.
I saw that complaint a lot too. Why are there no characters walking around? Well, because there's like 50,000 of you asking the exact same question.
My kid was disappointed because it wasn't like the commercials. Well, you know why it wasn't like the commercials? Because the commercials are fake. They worked, buddy.
I think it even says something at the bottom like...
may not depict actual experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Ridiculous. That is so ridiculous. Well, Disney's advertising is working, obviously, because they fooled you into going, buddy. Anyways, so that's... I hope you guys enjoyed our new segment, the best reviews we found today. So that's going to do it for this week in this episode of the Walt's World Podcast. Make sure you go to iTunes and share and comment, and make sure you leave a review. That's the best way to get people to be able to find our podcast, is to leave a review. And make sure you tell all of your friends about Walt's World Podcast and the fun that we have together.
Bonus points if you leave a review we can read out loud.
Yes. We will totally read your review next week if you leave us one. Even if it's a fake one. Just make up a fake profile, leave us a review. The funnier, the better. That's what I'm shooting for. Funny reviews. Good reviews. Don't make us read your review about our podcast on the best reviews we found this week.
Tell John what accent you want him to read it into.
Yeah, I have a great British old woman accent.
Don't believe him. That's a lie.
I actually only sound like Dobby from Harry Potter. That's the only British accent I can do. Anyways, that's it. We hope you guys have a great rest of your week, a great weekend, a great day whenever you're listening to this. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye, y'all.